The Season 7 sim begins. I still feel like I'm miscounting that because it does not seem possible that we have gone through 6 seasons already. But getting into this, the lineup remains the same as it was at the end of the last episode. So we're going to be simming through the month of October already. We don't have a single back-to-back, but moving into the month of November, we start off with a back-to-back against the Flyers and the Rangers. So we will sim through the month. We have 2 games against the Bruins as well. Let's see what happens. Can this new team, with the addition of Taylor Hall, finally get it done this season, or will we face an epic collapse? Let's find out. And guys, we have had a potential replacement for Frankie Corrado fall right into our hands. Chris Bigras from the Colorado Avalanche, 84 overall, top 4 potential, but we very well could take him, trade Corrado, and put him in the lineup in the meantime. And to be honest, as cheesy as that is, I'm going to do it, and then Bigras will be the guy that we trade away. So as you can see so far, 2 wins and a loss to start the season. Let's trade Frankie Corrado. Now, it took a little bit of hammering out, but we finally found our trade. Corrado, a 6th and a 7th this season to the New York Islanders for veteran Mark Frazier, who has a year left on his deal. Their 2nd round pick, 4th and 6th round picks next year. So Corrado, you've been a loyal soldier for us. You were going to be gone after the season anyway with that cap hit. Chris Bigras will now be in the lineup, but Corrado is gone.
A few moments later.
So here's the deal. We got an offer from the Blue Jackets for Seth Jones, whose morale has plummeted, for 3 prospects, Artukin, Lindholm, and somebody else who I can't remember. But we send them a counteroffer. Seth Jones and their 3rd round pick down the line for Chris Bigras. Of course, he's a lefty. We can get a righty in Seth Jones. It's a risky trade because we don't know what Bigras will become, but given his age, I'm fairly certain he won't reach higher than an 86. So Bigras' tenure with the Vancouver Canucks has already come to an end, and Seth Jones is the newest Canuck. And guys, I'm excited. Here is the defense as it stands now. Troy Stecher, of course, 26 years old at an 86 overall. Chychrun, 22 years old at an 88. Seth Jones is still in his last year of development. He has already bounced back to an 86 overall. So we turn Corrado, we get the free pickup in Bigras. We turn the 2 of them into Seth Jones and picks. I am beyond happy with that. He's playing with Trey Amkin. Colton Parayko, who is now 27 years old, locked in. I have no problem with him being on the 3rd pairing. He is with Rinat Valiev. And that trade occurred just before our last game. As you can see, it was a little bit of an up and down month, a little bit of a downslide with 4 straight losses after the Corrado trade. So I was a little bit concerned. We get a 2-1 win and then a 6-3 win in Seth Jones' debut. Obviously not our most high-flying start, but it is good enough to currently be in a playoff position. And honestly, I never would have expected that just a month into the season, we would have had not only Bigras, but now Seth Jones. And as you can see, Demko has rebounded. He's right where we want him to be at an 86. But Tom McEachran is really pushing for that spot. He is up to an 85. He will, of course, make his debut. And then down in the AHL, Raymakers is the starter for now because of that elite potential. But Nyquist is still growing. He's at a 71. So a very interesting goalie situation for our franchise moving forward. But Tom McEachran gets his NHL debut against the Philadelphia Flyers, and it is a 4-1 loss, and he actually goes down to a concussion. That is one hell of a debut. Now, I was torn with who to call up, but Raymakers will be Demko's backup, and he will get the start against the Anaheim Ducks if needed. Demko's back in the goal as we play against the 1-6-3 New York Rangers, but of course we will sim up now to this Ducks game. What will happen in this 5-game stretch? My God, though, we better beat New York. So again, not our best run of form. We do lose to the New York Rangers 6-2. They only had 1 win at the time. Back-to-back wins, but now back-to-back losses. Puts our record at 6-6-3 at the moment. We have also been battling injury trouble. Elias Lindholm missed a week, and Bo Horvat is currently out, replaced in the lineup by Gabriel Velarde. So hopefully now the injuries can kind of hold off, but Joseph Raymakers will be getting his NHL debut, or at least his debut for the Vancouver Canucks here in this game against probably our biggest rival, the Anaheim Ducks, and it is a 5-4 overtime loss with McEachern coming back immediately after. The new lineup is in place, and we will be getting at least a little bit of simming done here. We'll sim up to November 22nd against the Edmonton Oilers, but to be honest, I am a little bit worried now through 16 games. This is a little bit more than early season struggles at this point. We need this stretch of games to really turn our season around. And that's more like it, a 3-1 stretch redemption against both New York and Chicago, now 9-7-4 on the season and back into a potential playoff spot. But it is obviously still very, very early. Taylor Hall off to a good start, 16 points. Thus far, only 9 points for Matthews and 16 for Steven Stamkos. We'll take a look. Jonathan Drouin still doing incredibly well. Lindholm and McCann, not the biggest goal scorers. I am tempted to move Drouin back up to that line. We'll maybe put Taylor Hall on the right side, although Drouin theoretically could play top line center, and we could put Matthews down on the second line if we continue to struggle, but we're not going to make that drastic of a move just yet. Tom McEachern, though, back in goal to play the number one team in the division right now. Can he get us a win? And he cannot. He continues to struggle through 2 starts. Granted, it's only 2 starts, but I was hoping for a little bit more out of him. Demko is back in goal for these next 3 games against the Sharks, Jets, and Ducks. It will be McEachern getting the next start, or his next start, on December 1st against the Arizona Coyotes. We've continued to battle injuries, but thankfully our record is starting to look a bit promising, 12-8-4. Now on the season, still in a wild card spot in a big game coming up for McEachern. He really needs to get his first win. And you may have seen there, we are running with Jonathan Drouin as our top line center. He continues to put up points along with Hall and Stamkos. It is now McCann, Matthews, and Lindholm on that second pairing. But let's focus on the task at hand, and that is this big game against the Arizona Coyotes, our 25th game of the season. Can McEachern get his first win in a Vancouver uniform? And he can. A 4-3 victory in the shootout. And actually, let's take a look here. I'll change the lineups off screen because we are going to be simming to this game on December 22nd against the LA Kings. And we will see. This is going to be a big month for the team, setting the tone heading into the new year. A 9-game winning streak dating back to last month, and we have won 10 of our last 11, and it's even better than that, dating back even further into November. We have dealt with some injuries. Chychrun went down prior to this Colorado game, and Nikita Tramkin just went down to injury after the 7-1 win against the Calgary Flames. But finally, this team has caught their stride, 19-9-4 on the season and in second place overall. Let's do what we were going to do the entire time. And no, I don't mean the morale, but it is just habit to go there. I know a lot of people are saying turn off the morale because I complain about it so much, but I do want to keep it on because I'm trying to notice whatever I can. So that's the thing. If I don't have it on, I can't say whether or not it's a good feature or not. And of course, as you guys know, for the most part, I think a lot of changes need to be made to it. But I like to notice the fine details about this system and the new engine so I can at least constructively criticize their features. Regardless, getting back into this, Tom McEachern against the LA Kings, it's a 3-1 loss, so a little bit disappointing. But of course, Demko will be back in goal heading in to the new year. We don't have any back-to-backs until January 17th against the Colorado Avalanche. Can this team continue its hot start, or will the injuries continue to pile up and ultimately take a toll on our success this season? Things continue to look good for the Canucks. Of course, we have dealt with a few injuries here or there, but so far the month of January has been pretty kind to us, and our record currently sits at 26 wins, 13 losses, and 4 overtime losses to the Utica Comets, also with the winning record, which is impressive considering the amount of injuries we've had and how many players we have had to take away from them. We are so close, so very close to catching and overtaking the Edmonton Oilers for first place in our division. And that, of course, is the goal. McEachran may be able to get us there if he is able to beat the Colorado Avalanche in this game. Can he do it? And he cannot. It is a 3-1 loss. That sucks, but hopefully Thatcher Demko and the boys can get us that number 1 spot. We will be simming up to this game against the Detroit Red Wings at the end of January. Before moving into February, it's looking like we'll sim the entire season in this episode once again. 3 wins and a loss to Nashville, but overall things are looking good as we prepare to enter the month of February. 29, 15, and 4 on the season, and there you see it. We have taken first place. Unfortunately, the Anaheim Ducks, who also started off pretty slowly, are surging, and they are right there because they just won't fucking go away. If Getzlaf and Perry would please retire, that would be lovely. The LA Kings also hot on our tail. It's a very tough division. We knew it was entering this franchise, entering this series, whatever the hell you want to call it. We knew it was going to be tough, but this might just finally, knock on wood, be the year that we can get it done. McEachran still cannot get a win, so I might, just might, trade him now if necessary or if need be, because he's starting to piss me off that he can't get wins. That's the last thing I need, is for this franchise to be like the Bruins franchise, where we just cannot find a reliable backup. And despite his ratings, he only has a .909 save percentage. Back into the sim now, though, and we will be going up to this game on February 9th against the St. Louis Blues. 4 games for Demko to hopefully take control, because I don't expect McEachran to be able to get a win. Needless to say, another successful run of form. 4 straight wins over Eastern Conference opponents. We are now 33, 16, and 4 on the season and still in first place. But my God, the Ducks are just not going to quit. And like I said, the sooner that their better players decide to move teams or maybe even retire, the better for us. You had your chance. You had your chance. You never won a cup. You had your chance. Obviously, didn't realize they won a cup. I mean, in this GM Hood series, they haven't won a cup. Move on. McEachran cannot get us a win. My God, I don't even know why I started him. I don't even know why I started him. We might just have better luck with Raymakers. Maybe he is a moving piece, because my God, just a .907 save percentage. Not good enough from our backup. 28 games to go in the regular season, and we will be simming these next 5 games going to this game on February 23rd against the Washington Capitals. And yes, trade deadline day is coming closer and closer, but Seth Jones might have been the piece we needed. Who knows? He might have been the piece we needed. Maybe this whole time, and yes, I know some people suggested it, that we could have just gone for someone a little bit below a 90 overall. I didn't think it would work. So far, though, it's working, and my God, that's definitely a regret now, because there are certain players we could have gotten. But let's stay focused, and let's sim up to this Capitals game. And it's another 4-win, 1-loss stretch for the Canucks. 37, 18, and 4 on the season, and gaining at least a little bit of ground on the Anaheim Ducks. Things are looking good for this team, and as we continue to approach the deadline, I continue to think that maybe no changes are necessary, aside from finding a different backup goalie that is not named McEachran at this point. But he gets the start against Washington. Can you please get a win? And he does. He gets a 3-0 shutout, and honestly, he saves his job. And as we move forward, with 22 games to go, we will sim these next 3 games live as we approach the All-Star break, because the acquisition, and we have an injury to Jordan Saru, but we'll change that. The acquisition of Seth Jones has completely changed this team, 100% changed this team. It allowed Stetcher to be paired up with Jacob Chychrun. Hard to keep my train of thought for some reason. It got him paired up with Chychrun, which has just completely altered this team. Jesus, man, I can't even speak. I'm leaving this in. Fuck it. I planned on having Trampkin and Stetcher as a pairing. But as it turns out, going with Chychrun and Stetcher as a pairing has completely changed this team for the better. And they are both really high up there in the point total. Stetcher is comparable to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. There is somebody else, Anthony D'Angelo, a prospect on Tampa Bay, who has turned into a beast. I'm just going to go best lines in Utica. He's turned into an absolute beast that I was tempted to get. We couldn't get him before. So I think we're just going to keep this team the same. I honestly think it might be best to simply keep this team the same. 40, 19, and 4 as we enter the month of March. And God, I think I'm going to keep the team the same, guys. So as we move forward and continue to push for our first division title, I can only wonder if acquiring a defenseman of Seth Jones' stature, or even slightly better, if that would have changed the team. But of course, we gave Frankie Corrado the chance to grow into a permanent member of this team. That didn't work, but let's get back on track here. We are simming to this game on March 21st against the New York Islanders. Now, this is not the way I was hoping to have my faith rewarded, as we have probably our worst stretch of the season with 5 losses in our last 6 games. Seth Jones did miss the majority of those games, but we do maintain first place in the standings, and with just 11 games to go, our first division title is within reach, and McEachran has a big chance here against the New York Islanders, who are not the greatest team in the world. Can he get us the win? He cannot, but he does get us a point that will be ever so valuable as we hit the final stretch, the final 10 games. Steven Stamkos leading the team in points. And as you can see, we have quite the lead on the Ducks, a 7-point lead with 10 games to go. It is our title to win, and absolutely, if we don't win it, you could say we blew it. We will be doing our normal sim period, but I want to sim this game against LA. It's gigantic for us, and we get an overtime win. They get a point, but that is huge for us to get even further separation from the third place team. So moving forward into April, and we will sim up here to the 6th of April and sim the last 3 games against divisional rivals. Actually, we'll go here to this game on the 2nd, considering we have a home-and-home with the Oilers. And potentially the worst thing that could have happened has happened. Taylor Hall has fractured his collarbone and will miss at least the first round and probably the second, if not parts of the second. Jesus Christ. So moving forward for the rest of the regular season, we're going to try something different. It'll be Kajula, Bertan, and Lindholm on the second line. McCann down to the third line with Velarde, who has been called up. And of course, the top line is the top line that found success in previous seasons: Drouin, Matthews, and Stamkos. Now, we are done with the sim period as well. The loss to the Maple Leafs, not the greatest way to start, but 3 straight wins, including 2 over the Lightning. It was in the second Lightning game that Hall went down to injury. But we have 5 games left in the season. We have clinched a playoff spot. Of course, they are all against divisional rivals. We are currently on 99 points. 1 win secures the division title. I'm aiming for 50 wins. As far as the President's Trophy goes, we are right there with the Dallas Stars, and we have a game at hand. So it is a dogfight for the President's Trophy. Somehow the Winnipeg Jets have completely rebounded. I know they made some trades, but it is our division title to lose, and we have a chance to secure the President's Trophy, the first President's Trophy in quite a while for the Vancouver Canucks at this point. McEachran gets the start, and then we roll with Thatcher Demko from there on out. But right now is a big chance for Jake Virtanen to to prove that he belongs on that second line. Otherwise, we will go with Jared McCann. Once again, can McEachran get us the win against Edmonton? He does. A huge 3-0 shutout, and that secures us the division title for the first time in this series. We're up to 92 chemistry, and this team is on fire heading into the playoffs. Of course, the injury to Taylor Hall could completely derail that, but I'm confident in this team. Will that confidence be rewarded? Who the hell knows, but it's a gigantic accomplishment to finally come out on top in this division. Let's sim these last 4 games. I'm hoping we can reach 50 wins. 2 wins out of our last 4 games. We lose 3-2 to the Edmonton Oilers, so that is a little bit of a shame. Thankfully, that hasn't completely killed our chances for the President's Trophy. It is still a dogfight between Philly, Dallas, ourselves, and the Winnipeg Jets. I don't like our chances to win that President's Trophy, but again, to win the division title is huge. Let's sim this game against Anaheim. These next 2 games against Anaheim and LA are going to be pretty big for the seeding in the playoffs. We lose 2-1 to the Ducks. Can we get a win over LA? If we don't, the 50-win dream is over. We do. It's a 4-3 win. Not too bad. I want to take a look, though, heading in to the last game of the season, if we have a chance. Jake Virtanen, not too bad with 34 points. I'm going to go with McCann, though, I think. We'll play McCann at center. And yes, I have switched Kajula to a playmaker. I didn't cover this. Virtanen to a sniper, and Kiru to a sniper. Do we have a lefty on that line? We do not. That's a little bit of a concern. We'll play Virtanen on the off wing and see how he does there. But let's sim this final game, or at least sim up to this final game of the season against the Sharks, who are in the basement of this division. Are our President's Trophy hopes still alive? We're winning the division by 5 points at the moment, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Very competitive season with 6 teams over 100 points, but we would have to win this last game and have pretty much everybody else lose. So at this point, I just hope we win. Can we reach a 50-win season? And we do. A 3-1 win over the Sharks. What a year for the Vancouver Canucks, winning the division for the first time, hitting 50 wins, and now we move on to play the Nashville Predators in the first round. What a year for the Canucks. In the next episode, we will take a look at what our team did this season, and of course, we will take a look at the Predators, who finished in one of the 2 wild card spots. The question moving forward into the playoffs, how big of an impact will Taylor Hall's absence be? We have a very, very well-rounded team. Thatcher Demko has had a spectacular season. Austin Matthews, he lost his starting job on the top line, essentially to Taylor Hall. It's a big, big postseason for him. Velarde filling in for Taylor Hall. What can he do? And of course, defensively, Chychrun so close to breaking in to the 90s. But what a pickup Seth Jones was to get Big Russ and then flip him for Seth Jones. And rather than prospects, we flipped Bigger straight up, kept our prospects. Just what a season for this team. That will do it, though. I'm sure this episode is long enough. I know the raw file is long enough. As always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, and I really, really do appreciate it. As well, if you haven't already, if you are not one of the 800 people, which I know is such a small thing on YouTube, but to me, it means fucking everything. That is a fucking awesome number to hit. We are getting closer to 1,000. If you're not one of those people to have hit that button already, make sure you do, to continue following this series, because in the next episode it is round 1 against Nashville. My hopes are high. I really don't hope for a repeat of last year. I'll see you guys in the next one.